Hey everybody, and welcome to Meals with Melissa, where we give you healthy options of things you love to eat. So one of my clients, Laura Johnson, gave me this recipe and she said it works because I think the biggest frustration I have with making homemade healthier crust options is that they tend to fall apart. So pretty excited when I tried this one and it turned out beautifully. So pretty excited to use this tonight for a family dinner. But super easy to make. You just need zucchini, which you can actually find at the grocery store. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to grate some zucchini. Now again, I'm doing a half recipe just because it's just easier. I always make one to try and then make one that I can show you how to make right at the same time. So you're gonna grate about a cup of zucchini, and then you're going to put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes at 350. You just need to dry the zucchini out just a little bit because otherwise it's just gonna be a wet mess when you try to add the other ingredients. So you're gonna dry it out for just a little bit. I put parchment paper on a pizza pan, which worked out super great because then the air gets through the bottoms with the holes as well. And then I put it in the oven and let it just dry out for a few minutes. I sprinkled it with a little bit of salt. Now, so that part's done. I did that ahead. So now I'm just gonna really lightly use some paper towel to kind of soak up any more moisture that's in it before I add it to the rest of my ingredients. Because again, I just don't want it to be overly wet. So got that part done. Okay, perfect. I did use parchment paper just honestly because it is the easiest way to clean it up when it's done, and that way you don't have to worry about nonstick or trying to clean some of that off your pans. All right, so to that, I'm actually going to put a half a cup of mozzarella cheese, and I just grabbed the stuff that's already grated. Just to be honest, it's just a time thing. That, and I've had some children grate their fingers, and so I had a couple of them that would never do that part of a recipe for a very, very long time. Okay, so I'm gonna do a half a cup. I've got a fourth cup measure here because I can't find any of my half cup measures around the house right now. Okay, half cup cheese, and then to that I'm going to add some coconut flour. Now we actually have a really good stock of that because we tend to use the alternative flours such as almond and coconut flour. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, and I actually have a 2 tablespoon measure here, which works great. Okay, and again, now coconut flour is a completely different texture than almond flour. They are not interchangeable when it comes to quantity. So realize that coconut flour will absorb much more than almond flour will. But they're both great options for alternative cooking, especially when you're trying to do low carb. All right, so to that I'm going to add 1.5 eggs. Now again, I know that it can be an issue, so I'm actually gonna add 1 whole egg, and then I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of egg whites to equal 1.5 eggs. And it works out just fine. So, ooh, it's disintegrating in my hand. That's okay. Just making a mess. I'm actually really good at that. Okay, I'm gonna add again a 1.5 tablespoons of egg whites. Again, that way I'm not trying to string out half an egg. Like that just is silly. And I've done this before, so I know it works. So 1.5 tablespoons. So again, the full recipe asks for 3 whole eggs. Again, if you're trying to go a little lower fat, which is kind of silly considering you're using a mozzarella cheese, and you're going low carb, so that doesn't really work out. But you can always use egg whites instead. I actually just like the flavor of the yolk, so that doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so I'm gonna mix those up. I'm actually gonna add a little bit of salt as well. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We use pink Himalayan salt at my house, which we get at Costco because we use a lot. I still have a pretty good sized household, so yeah, I catch myself shopping there at least once a week. It is a serious love-hate relationship on multiple levels. It's a necessity just because I have such a big family, but I really don't, like shopping at big box stores these days for multiple reasons. And there's always a zillion people there, and I don't really care for that. Okay, I might grab a rubber scraper just to make sure I'm getting everything off the sides. Okay, so then to that I'm gonna add the zucchini that I've already grated and dried. Perfect. Super excited. Now the great thing is it doesn't matter what toppings you like. Really for us, the alternative is, or the benefit is alternative ingredients for pizza. I do have a autoimmune disease, and so one of the things that I really want to stay away from is gluten. And to be honest, I think most people should stay away from gluten. I think it's a very destructive protein when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. So, you know, yeah, I'll do it once in a while if we choose to, like, you know, get some Domino's pizza or something, but really I try to stay away from those, from anything with gluten, and use alternatives. Okay, so I'm gonna use my fork real quick to kind of scoop this off. Probably could have left it in just a smidge longer in the oven to dry out, but that's okay. What ends up happening is I'll just have to leave it a little bit longer as it cooks as a crust, which is fine. Okay, so I'm gonna dump that in. See how easy that is to clean up? Isn't parchment paper wonderful? One of those things they didn't make when I was younger learning to cook, and of course now I use it for just absolutely everything. Okay, throw that in. I'm gonna mix that with my current mixture, and then I'm gonna put some new parchment paper on my pizza pan. I don't even remember where I got these pizza pans. It's something that's kind of just been in my household for a very, very, very long time. You know how you just get stuff and all of a sudden you've accumulated? Yeah, kind of there. But we have used them because I do have a big family, and off and on for years, you know, we've done a lot of family cooking. All right, so I think we got it. I just really want to make sure that the zucchini is even in my mixture. All right, I'm gonna throw this out. I'm gonna grab some more parchment paper, which is in my little pantry right here. Parchment paper. I buy the biggest option they have because we use so much of it. I also love this when I make my little famous pumpkin bread that I make every year, because it makes it so much easier to get the little breads out. And like that's famous because everybody asks for it. Okay, so I'm actually gonna spread this on my pan as thin as I can get it in a round option. You can kind of see that it made not quite a 12-inch round. If you're making one batch, which a large, you know, honestly, I probably would make smaller batches only because then I can have a couple of different toppings so that the kids don't complain. And number two, they cook a little bit more evenly, but again, that's just a personal preference. Now, I've had a couple people ask me for macros on all the things that I do. Now, here's the problem with that. If I give you the macros and you end up using a different brand, a different product, adding something to it, taking something out of it, it's not gonna be accurate. Not only that, you all should already know how to use MyFitnessPal, and if you don't, that is definitely something that you should figure out. And don't get the premium version. You don't need it. It's a great tool. I use it with all my clients. Super, super easy. I know there's a lot of other options out there, but you know, to be honest, this is probably the best one I found that really is easy to use. And I'm a technophobe, so that's actually saying quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to just push this out the best I can, making it as round as I can. I did pretty good on the one I made last night, so I'm pretty proud of that. And of course, I love cheese, so I'm completely okay with the fact that it's made of cheese and coconut flour. Also, so when you cook it, I'll finish this, but I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna roll, because I know you're not gonna wait for me to spend the 20 to 30 minutes cooking it. You're gonna put it in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 30 minutes. What you're looking for is for that golden bubble on top. Take it out, let it sit for about 10 minutes before you add topping to it, because the cheese needs to cool down just a smidge. And then up your oven to 400 degrees in order to cook the pizza. So again, let that rest. Then put the ingredients on it, up your oven to 400 degrees, and then once you get your toppings and everything on there, you're gonna bake it for another about 10 minutes, and then if you choose to hit broil really quick in order to kind of, again, make the top nice and bubbly golden brown, by all means, do that. So, you guys, I love this. I'm so happy that she gave me this recipe. I'm always looking for something new that works and tastes good. Because to be honest, granted, you know what? I am completely in support of small business and really benefiting them by utilizing their services. But the problem is sometimes it's really difficult to eat healthy that way. So make sure you're doing the smart balance of, because you can still eat out healthy. You just have to know how to make good choices and kind of do some check ahead and know what the options are. I still eat out. I just am really smart about it. So have an incredible day, you guys. Have happy holidays. I am celebrating. Really don't care what I'm told about that. I'm going to enjoy my family and friends this year and really have an attitude of gratitude. So have an incredible day, you guys. And that's it for Meals with Melissa. Bye now.